The Last of Us Factions is one of Naughty Dog's most anticipated titles since 2020's The Last of Us Part 2, and despite hype surrounding the online project, the studio has kept updates about the game under wraps for years now. As the Game Awards 2023 closely approaches, I feel it is necessary to discuss The Last of Us Factions and why I believe that The Last of Us online community should keep expectations low this year for the event. Before continuing, hello all of you Factions fans, my name is TheStarkz and welcome to another The Last of Us Factions video. With the Game Awards just around the corner for its annual event, including nothing short of cringe-fest personalities, unexpected game reveals, and often polarizing award-winning, many across different pockets of video game communities begin to speculate and name their predictions for what's to come for the ceremony. Whether it be predictions for game reveals whose development have been in the shadows for years, or it be predictions of new update events for people's favorite games, there always lies something among the communities. Among some of those predictions lies The Last of Us Factions' unveiling. I know many on Twitter, for instance, have spoken about their belief that Naughty Dog may actually be present to finally unveil and officially announce The Last of Us Factions. However, I'm here to say that this is more than unlikely to happen, and here's why. You see, just a few weeks ago, there was this rumored leak which pointed to a remastered edition for The Last of Us Part 2 being developed for the current PlayStation 5 consoles. During that leak, PlayStation and Naughty Dog took to Twitter and other platforms to confirm this, with Naughty Dog posting, quote, heading into the weekend like, 12 minutes until the full trailer, end quote. This announcement, I at least speculate, was not intended to be made until perhaps the Game Awards of this year, and Naughty Dog sought the opportunity to take control of the situation by fully announcing The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered Edition, before more leaks surrounding its development were to begin brewing across different platforms. Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann has stated in the past that the studio would avoid announcing upcoming titles early in an attempt to prevent putting strain on the work-life balances of their employees' lives. A quote from Neil Druckmann explains, "We did announce Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Part 2 way in advance, but that actually caused a little bit of the work-life balance issues that we've sometimes had at the studio," Druckmann said. By delaying that announcement a bit, we could play with the schedule more, and we're more cautious now about how we're approaching production. So there's our The Last of Us multiplayer project, and there's another project that I will not say anything about that's beyond that we're also very much excited for. This was taken from an interview that Neil Druckmann had done nearly a year ago with a journalist site. Totally unrelated, but considering this interview was done a while ago, I can now assume that the project Neil Druckmann was referring to at the time might have actually been what's now unveiled as The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered for the PS5, but really, who knows? Either way, as you can see, the studio will only reveal titles closer to their launch. With The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered expected to release in January of 2024, it would make sense why Naughty Dog would have waited for the perfect time to unveil the title at the Game Awards. I don't think the title would have been revealed a few weeks ago had it not been for the leaks, as the Game Awards is the perfect event to showcase what a studio is working on, with millions tuning in each year, with that yearly number increasing over the years. It would have been the ideal moment to display the trailer for the game. Now that The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is Naughty Dog's current game that is being marketed, it just wouldn't make sense for the studio to suddenly unveil The Last of Us Factions project next week for the Game Awards, and it sure wouldn't make sense for the studio to unveil Factions in the coming months ahead of their The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered release. Furthermore, in a recent interview Neil Druckmann did with Entertainment Weekly, Neil said that he had, quote, no update regarding any future Last of Us projects beyond Part 2's PS5 Remastered. He stated, quote, "The Last of Us is obviously a world I love deeply and I know our studio and fans do as well, but I have no comment at this moment on the series' future beyond our focus on The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, and we have other projects in the works at Naughty Dog," end quote. It's obvious that the studio's hard at work creating the Last of Us Factions experience, and there's no doubt that I, as a fan of the IP, have high hopes that they'll create something both meaningful and fun with their The Last of Us multiplayer project. However, I think us Factions fans will have to wait a little bit longer before Naughty Dog officially unveils The Last of Us Factions online project, but I also have all the faith in the world that when the time finally comes, our wait would have been extremely worth it. So what do you think? Could we see the Last of Us factions at the Game Awards this year, or do you think that we'll have to wait even longer before its eventual unveiling? Let me know in the comment section below, and of course, with everything being said, I have been TheStarkz. Peace.